We're back on. We're back on stream. Let's make some noise. Building public. Alrighty. Alright, so I'm now live on X, Twitch, and YouTube. So if you guys hear me, just want to make sure you guys can hear me properly, and then we'll get started. Alright, well, just welcome. I see, not sure across which channel, but like some of you joined. Let me know if you can hear me properly, and then we'll kick things off on what would, wait, oh, sorry for this. We'll do same as yesterday. We looked at our progress, and then we'll look at what we want to write codes for today, and yeah, we'll start to share some stats about Proper and the Backtester app. Can you just drop a comment if you hear me? Sorry, hear me properly, and then we'll kick things off. All right, so one sec. I mean, I did not get any feedback here, but we'll not wait any further on this, and we'll share I guess, some key updates. So we've launched this app in prod yesterday, and today you can only go through the waitlist. I did share on X that you can get $10 in free credits if you join the waitlist before the 200 mark. For the waitlist, we will go in production in about 4 to 5 days with this app. And yeah, credits allow you to test strategies. Well, as we'll see today, we'll test some, try out, we'll find out about new analysis. And yeah, again, for everyone here that's new, we're basically going through the journey of building, I guess, a new company or a new venture from really zero to, the goal is 10 million, and commitments that I've said I would stick to is streaming every day, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. CT. That's the rough estimate. Some will be late, will be early. Some streams will be just 20 minutes. Some will last for a lot longer, but yeah, that's the commitment. So about the stack, we've got Backtester, which is an app that helps you take an idea and transform that into a strategy. Basically try and think of whether your intuition as a trader or as an investor about a market's activity is correct, whether you think that you should go long BTC when the M2 supply is increasing, or whether we take a different event like there is an earthquake in Japan. It's someone from my team that said this, and you want to see if that works and if there is any correlation to this. Well, you'll be able to try it with the app. So what we've added between today and yesterday is we've added the ability to see the underlying data set. So here we have go long BTC when the Coinbase premium is positive. Well, you can see the actual data set that's underlying, and you can also see it on a graph, see it on a table, and download in CSV or JSON. That's going to be a pro functionality. Pro functionality is also something that we've added, and it's the ability to pay on a monthly basis for you to get the ability to access new functionalities or early functionalities. First of which will be analysis, and we'll just go through that after. But you also have the ability to have signals, so to take an idea into a backtested strategy into signals that are sent over to your Telegram, for example. So analysis is the new cool thing in town that we've added, and I figured some users did not have the did not have, let's say, did not know how to express a view, but had a view, and so, for example, what I mean is they just want to see if there's a correlation between two events. So let's say instead of what we would have done with the strategy on go long BTC, if the, I don't know, the not sure what we could pick, but if Google Trends for BTC are trending up, well, analysis is different. It's to say, what is the correlation between Google Trends for BTC and the price of BTC. Hopefully that one's gonna work. And all right, so that one is not working. I actually think, interesting, I actually don't think we have enough credit. I think I've expired all the credits. Or we have Cloud Code that's down, and in the background we use Sonnet 4.5. We don't use Sonnet for everything on the app, but for the strategy generation, we use yeah. So I actually had the same issue with I demoed the app, but yeah, I guess Cloud is overloaded, so you won't see. I guess amongst the things that we have to check, I mean, essentially add a way in which we make this better for the user experience. But anyway, the end outputs that you can expect is to see something like this, where the prompt here was, what's the correlation between the price of NASDAQ and BTC? Very, very simple prompt. But that tells you the performance and tells you a suggested strategy, if any. So here, for example, it says correlation is fairly weak. And it doesn't actually tell you to create, a new strategy for this. So there are some other items that I've tried out. Correlation between MicroStrategy Premium and BTC as an example. But so that's the new thing that we've added. Last night I did start to add a Chart Explorer. So it's the ability to overlay some items like the estimated leverage ratio on top of BTC. That's still in the works. The big update that we have since yesterday is not just the Pro plan, not just the analysis, the small improvements we've made to how how we expose the data set for the underlying strategy, but also the new capabilities that we've added. So we've added some new data providers And we've also made something cool, which is the ability to preview each data set. So inherently, we are constrained with the data set that we have for the backtest. But we can easily add new ones. So for example, here you have the data set for the realized price of Bitcoin over time. And then you can also extract this data. Today, this one is only going a year back, but over time, like as we go in prod and I see some demand for the product, I'll go back in time and fetch more data. But we've added stuff like the hash rate that again you can extract over time. So now you can do stuff like what's the correlation between Bitcoin hash rate and the Bitcoin price. And then hopefully if we've resolved this overload issue from Entropic, we'll be able to get this going. And I actually think this is because of the credit issue. We just don't have enough credit. I will need to check the console because otherwise we're just gonna get stuck for the whole session. So yeah, we've added some on-chain capabilities, but then we've also added some other items like markets. So more data set with the Nasdaq, with MicroStrategy, like crypto stocks, with some Bitcoin ETFs. So not the infos, but I guess this tracks very closely. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's because we just don't have enough credits. So I'm gonna just take a quick moment to recharge the account, and then come back to you. Yup. Yeah, I need to buy some credits now. Buying credits. So hopefully that's going to resolve the issue. Oh, perhaps it's just Entropic servers being down, I'm not sure. So yeah, we've added other item switches. So now I've added some credits, so it won't be that the issue. But 529 error is that Entropic servers are overloaded. I've never had this issue, but I suspect it's general. We've added stuff like VIX index, so it's the fear index, which is spiking up when you have uncertainty in the markets, like when you had the Japanese carry trade that got triggered. But what's the, if I say go down, when the VIX spikes with very untight risk management. I want to know if there is any pattern to be found on this stuff. If you have any questions, or if you want to interact on the chat, don't hesitate. Yeah, and we still have this overload issue, which is really, really annoying. Okay, let me actually try and debug this stuff. Okay, so if there's a you want to see due to acceleration, yeah. Okay, so what I want is to handle that gracefully. So we'll just ask it to, I guess, handle that gracefully. So can you handle this gracefully for the user? Because as we get in prod fairly quickly, you don't want to have this user experience that's underwhelming. So we'll try and just get that fixed for the moment. And yeah, as I was saying on the capabilities, we've added Google Trends here, and again you have like the underlying data, which I think is good. Perhaps what we want to build today on the stream is the ability for people to interact with the system through an API. So to basically have an API, like a dev interface, so that agents or anyone can connect with our platform. I think that'd be a pretty cool project. And I think it's not only this, but also retrieve the underlying data. Like if you want to just get an extract of the capabilities, it's something that we can charge the users for, because data has some inherent value. I'm a bit annoyed at this. I'm not sure why we were getting this issue again. You see, you can ask this stuff like what happens to BTC price action during new moons. I have no clue whether that's going to work, but that's how I got this idea initially, which is random patterns and try and see if that makes, like if that means anything at all. Yeah, so now we're getting this error, which is much better. Still not what we want. Still not what we want, so we're a bit stuck here. But until we are, I guess, just unstuck, we'll build the dev docs. I also have Railway, so where the app is currently hosted, that's, I think, having issues. So is something happening globally that I don't know? I have some prod issues which I want to just quickly fix. And I can just get it fixed on a different instance. But now we wanna make a plan for the dev docs, like make a plan. Like I'm just gonna say, I assume that the platform will be used for AI agents or devs. Can you make an AI? Well, sorry. Can you make a dev platform with a good documentation on endpoints, expose the strategy endpoint, the underlying data, and then yeah, make sure it is gated through API keys. Make a plan. Let's see what we can cook here. And I think it's going to be a nice functionality for the app overall. I genuinely think that because you have so many different agents that are trying to trade, like I think the big new thing is going to be AI. Like crypto is such a great benefit for trading agents, like because trading agents are, I guess they're not anyone, so you can't KYC, or like you would proxy someone else's KYC. So I think crypto being frictionless is going to enable a lot of growth levers here for the crypto trading apps, but also just fundamentally, I think that the trading bots don't have so much of an edge, and so they will try and find patterns over time of what works and what doesn't work, and that's typically what our app is doing. So we're, I guess, just making a plan here, and goal would be to have like a tab on here which is just dev, and then you can access all the endpoints, and then we'll try and test that. And I think this is going to be a pretty big functionality for today, and that's probably the only thing that we'll do through like the next hour or so. Let's try and see if the servers are not overloaded anymore. And then I'm adding a lot of new functionalities, but then I really need, I think on tomorrow's stream is going to be a bit boring, where we have to troubleshoot as much as possible. We have a QA testing suite where we test new strategies based on the capabilities that we have, but I want to make sure the launch is as smooth as possible for the users. So we're making a plan now on the dev, and we're also trying to fix a prod error. Reminder, if you're on the stream now, I know we have little viewage now, but if you're on the stream and you want to test the app, we'll go live with the app this weekend, and you'll be able to join the waitlist. If you have other ideas of trading apps that we can build alongside the prop firm, as I said, we have this prop firm that we're building, and that's built on Hyperliquid, that's transparent from day one. Transparency is a big thing about the product. You can actually go ahead now, it's not a protected route, you can go to /transparency and see some stats about the app, just usage of the product overall. You can see we have 1 pro subscriber, we found 21 winning strategies, and we have you can also see the P&L, well, the profit margin of the app. And now we're just, I guess, trying to wait for Claude to figure out the dev environment. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to look like, or how I even want this to look like, but I already had some requests for people building agents to have like the ability to fetch all the strategies that were ever built and fetch the underlying data of those and fetch the results of those. Like if you have I think a GraphQL endpoint that's enabling you to like get the whole data, I think it's going to be interesting. So let's just wait for Claude's feedback on this. The other thing that we could implement is, or we could think about is, no, I think it's not for today's stream. I wanted to discuss about tokenizing a strategy, but I think I'm getting too sidetracked here with the actual goal being to have the app go in prod. The thing I think we could add is like the tracking the user journey. So you know, creating a sort of CRM which tracks tracks things like IPs, track things like session time, like how many strategies created, money spent, and you know, things of the sort. I know tracking IP addresses is not, you know, the thing you really want, but I think it's something that'd be cool to like track key user actions. Obviously now, I mean, at some point we'll have to look at the terms and conditions of the app. Today we don't have, well, we haven't started on this, but it's gonna have to come at some point. So, all right, so let's see. I think Claude is trying to figure out the details of the plan, and the other instance is trying to figure out the prod issue. I found this strategy which is interesting. The strategy is almost looks like a honeypot. Some of the things I need to add is the working forwards the trades. I still haven't thought of how to implement this just yet. But the trade is to short BTC 7 days before FOMC meetings and close the position 1 day before the meeting. So the win rate is insane because your risk reward is bad, which makes, you know, hitting the trade quite, well, super easy. And in that case, the target gain is 1.2%, which is nothing. And then I believe the stop loss is 6%. So it's a very wide stop that you have. You can modify this. You can modify this if you want. Like you can modify the parameters, but for example, if you had to take the same strategy, but you do a take profit of 5% and a stop loss of 1%, you'll have terrible results. So it's all a matter of how you see how you take those profits. And you see the win rate is actually terrible. So let's try and see. Good. All right, let's try and see where we stand with our deployment. I still have an issue. Alright, and we're trying to get this cooking, this dev platform. And yeah, responsiveness is gonna be a thing for well into the future. I'm not particularly interested in this at the moment. Alright, this is taking outrageously long. So some features I have in the, like, let's say I were to build a roadmap for the project. First I wanna go live and then troubleshoot. Like, I suspect a lot of errors will happen. But before I go live, I wanna make sure I understand more about the users. So potentially once we get cooking with our dev platform, we'll do the admin panel with user tracking. I want to make sure we understand about some key stats like drop-off rates, etc. That's going to help me better understand where we are with the platform, what's like where do we lose users? Do we lose users that log in? Do we, any of this? Wait, so okay. All right, so it's basically exposed the API, the strategy endpoint, the availability endpoint for data, and the chart endpoint. And we have now the process to create an API key. Just want to go through the migration file, unless it's not created yet. Yeah, sorry, it's just a plan. So I think we'll start to go ahead with this. And then we might want to also add in the transparency dashboard the dashboard, the API keys, well, the tracking of API endpoints. So as I was saying about the roadmap, we have first to get this app up and running. Well, it's in prod, but we want to make sure the feedback that we get is good. We want to make sure we understand more the users. Then we have the ability to have a marketplace. The marketplace for strategies. Then eventually tokenize the strategy. So the ability to have a strategy be there on Hyperliquid, and you can copy trade a given strategy. Create a public profile link. That was a request, but like add X tracking. So basically, when OnSem is bullish, what's BTC doing? That's a bit of a heavy lift, and I think a very costly feature, but I think one that's worth looking at. There is security topic, but that's gonna be before we go live. You have one thing, which is parse a YouTube video and extract the strategy. So I saw a video of, for example, TGL Trades talking about his trading strategy. Well, if you have the ability to parse this YouTube video and bake that into, make this into a strategy, that could eventually work. Like if I take, that I'd be very curious to build. I know then you have trademark stuff and copyright, but it's something for later. Transparency board that was done. Eventually add this tutorial step by step. Like when you first get on the app, just making sure you get to understand how the app works, even though I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We do have a referral system live, so I have a checklist. Adding a versioning system, we don't have this, and that's an easy fix, but on top of backtester logo, can you add a versioning system? We are currently in alpha. So that users understand we're still like insanely early. Settings, transparency board. Okay. An email sequencer and sender. Well, sorry, an email sender is a key thing. So that's about user onboarding. Is when you first get on the app, there is no welcome email or anything of the sort. So that's key to build. I know you have a lot of built-in tools, but I want to see how far Claude can take me. You see here we have this versioning system. In the meantime, I'm trying to check the prod logs, and we still have this issue. A bunch of folks ask me like, why do I stream? Like, I'm definitely not the best streamer, and that's I guess the whole point of doing so. I'm pretty convinced, like, whether that's with this product or the prop firm, I'm pretty convinced we'll get to the 10 million in revenues, and at least that's my goal for the year. And I'm gonna be streaming every day and doing so. And so I think in the next like 12 months. Well, 6 months, people will say, fuck, this guy was building this with no views. And just for the record, I do believe in what I do here and in our bigger community. And if no one's showing up, I don't care, because we'll get it figured out one way or another. And those streams today talk about the tech, but I want to then talk about the distribution a bit more. Like, how do you find growth mechanics that work for those? So, discussed about TGL trades, but what kind of deals do we make? Do we do ad samples, etc.? Like, basically run that thing, 0 to 10 million and see how we get there. So if you're watching the stream, you're very much getting into my brain and see how I think about things. And I might think of things the wrong way. Just on the roadmap, we need to check the SEO before we go live. Ability to pay. Yeah. Alright, so we're getting this. I think the endpoint is dead. Yeah, it's still not built. So what's cool is we'll be able to incrementally like create an MD file so that incrementally we improve the dev page. It's I would say it's a smaller functionality. I don't count on many people to use this. One functionality that would be cool is today we have a get lucky functionality, which is the ability to isolate multiple strategies. Well, sorry, find like one strategy out of all of the capabilities, and it's an AI that is trying to, I guess, just build a strategy. But what we can do is to do that, but multiple times. So it's gonna call the API really well a lot of times. So it's this functionality I'm talking about. So it's if BTC opens Monday. Oh, I don't have enough credit. All right, so I'm gonna send myself some credits. I have something you don't see, but I have I guess a secret door that's allowing me to airdrop credits, and that's exactly what I'm going to be using with some credits. So I'm just gonna drop myself 10k credits, and I should be able to reuse the app. If I refresh now, yeah. Alright, so it's a new one that popped up. So you see I have 10k credits. Not gonna show you the admin panel because I do track many different things, but the cool thing is I have an error log. So typically everything you saw about the overloads error, something that the backend was flagging. Obviously there are some tools that exist that do this stuff, but I'm building it. It's just such an easy addition. There's one thing I wanted to add, which is the ability to have a dashboard. Alright, so sharp here is wrong, I think. Alright, something I need to investigate. And let me just try and get to this dev table. I need to investigate that. It's still like a bunch of my work. I just don't want to do it too much on stream because it's honestly quite boring. API docs. Alright, so that's cool. Built for AI agents. Okay, this is what I built. Your domain. Alright, so your domain, I can tell it that the domain is backtester. The domain is backtester. Okay, you can see here an API key. I'm gonna change it. If I get try and ask to get an API key that's on my settings, I can generate a new API key, call it test YouTube, well, test Twitch, sorry. It's both a read and a write key. It's creating the key, and then I should be able to yeah, get this. And then I want to implement, can you implement usage tracking for this, for the API? Well, I guess is usage tied to, like, how do we want to make this? I'm not sure. So auth with the bearer token, that's okay. You can generate a strategy if you, well, I guess just the way we do it today. You can get the data availability, get the data charts. Okay, error handling is good. Code example is good. The thing is, I think you want it to be more descriptive about the data that's available for the user. Because I think what's of value is the amount of data that we retrieve on our backend. So I'm gonna ask it to get more granular with the data availability and add this on the add new capability pattern file. And then we'll try and challenge Claude on what does he think we can add that's better. Like in terms of user actions, potentially the ability to explore some, how would you be able to explore some strategies? All right, so we do have a usage section. Apparently we have a usage section on the API key. Oh yeah, there we go. And then, so what's the pricing strategy for the API key? I'm not exactly sure how this is working. And let's try and see if our prod instance is running. Okay. Okay, currently the usage is the same as for user, which is just fine for now. So what I wanted to add is the ability to get the underlying data for each capability, similar to crypto quant, for example. So what you'll be able to test is what to get is the underlying data for each. Okay, we're committing a new, okay, push to prod. Well, I'm saying prod, but today we only have one environment, and we'll create a new environment as we go to prod. So then we won't be able to push everything to the same environment. But today prod is really just the dev environment. So once we get this done, we want to build a way to track users and to track just how far the user is going through the app, the funnel, etc. I'm coming up with this on the fly. Every time I'm saying we need a roadmap, I actually don't come up with a roadmap for the day. So it's really how I think about this. So I'm checking a few things here and there. Okay. We are just waiting for the dev docs to be updated with the data. Now this is being pushed to prod. I just want to make sure. Yeah, this is being queued. So okay, we do have some upstream GitHub issues. And the deployment is running. Okay, now it's a big project that we want to do is to track, like being able to track users. So if I get a new user on the app, what's this user doing? And because I want to, I'll explain that to Claude. But I want to say I am about to go prod with the app soon. I want that on the admin panel you have a CRM that tracks user actions, session times, user funnel, retention, money spent, how many strategies performed, and any other data that you think will be relevant to understand the bottlenecks of the app. So we're trying to get this covered. It's going to be helping me to. I see 4 people now on, I guess, across the different streams. If you guys have comments or anything to share, please ask away. And I'm just building now this backtesting app, which is pretty cool app that lets you take an idea to a strategy. And now we are building dev docs, and we're also building an admin panel to track users, as we will be going to prod in, I think in under 3 days or so. So the next promise tomorrow, the day after, etc. It's only going to be about troubleshooting the app. A cool thing I have is today I have this admin panel. And the admin panel allows you to see, okay, this email trying to build a strategy at this time and it worked. But if you have any prod error logs, this is, prod errors, which we had, you can see which endpoint failed, and you can see why it failed. There's also the CRM, so I'm able to see the tier of users, strategies generated, and then I will also want to see, like, if a given user, like, how many errors did this user encounter, and then you can think that at some point we'll have an email flow. Let's say you've encountered an issue on a strategy. Well, I'm gonna want to give you an email to say, hey, the strategy has been fixed, or like, we apologize, we refund you credits, or whatever. I think you get the flow. So we're building this thing to track the users. I'm gonna be hosting this on a separate app, I think, so that there's no security issues. For now, I can give some pro accounts. So for example, to my designer, I can give him a pro account and then give eventually airdrops to that users. So airdropping credits. All right, now we're getting this docs cooking, and we're adding this, those two sections, I think. And those two sections is enabling us to grab more granular data. So typically the data capabilities that as a bot you would be able to retrieve those capabilities. And I think once we have this analytics CRM and the dev, I think we'll end it there for today. And then I will be troubleshooting the platform. If you're watching this and you're not on the waitlist, quickly, you can go to backtester.xyz and then go subscribe to the waitlist. We currently have 91 persons on the waitlist, so it's a very small amount, but we'll get there. Almost 100, yeah. Well, I haven't done much promotion. Like, we haven't. Xbox account is not really talking about this, and yeah, the goal is to really support the prop firm, and we will do a lot more growth with the prop firm. Frank. And I really need to get working with the growth of this stream, so we want to make sure we get as many people just to follow Journey. I know there's a ton of work to be done on the streams. Like, I don't think they are super impressive, but goal is to make them better. So I'll get a better setup. We'll do things a bit more properly. I think the build error that we had is now fixed. So the current backtest.xyz has the latest versions, which is cool. And now we have the Dave docs that are updated. Okay, use filter. Alright, what's the catalog endpoints? Or am I retarded or... Okay, what the fuck is this? Download. Alright, so we're trying to fix the dev docs. The catalog endpoint. Okay, so alright, so now this endpoint is enabling you to, let's try it out actually. Give me the curl for with the API key. We'll try and get this done. So I just want to see if I can get on the prod domain. I can get this. Wait, where do I see my key? My key. Okay, but like, wait, I can't even. Alright, let me get a new key. Test key. Let's see. I'm gonna be killing those, so give me the curl for the API key, and I'm gonna be testing it through my command line. See if wait. No. Or is it the bash? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm generally retarded. My brain just does not think anymore. Let me just try and solve that quickly, and then is it because we haven't pushed that? Yeah. Deploy. So we will be able to, like, we want to test if that dev stuff works. So we'll be able to see if we can get anything across the wire, and then analytics. We want to check. What we get cooking here. It's a pretty extensive piece of work, as I understand. CRM analytics dashboard to understand user behavior, identify bottlenecks, track the business. Currently there is no page result. Action tracking, lightweight event tracking, etc. Okay, cool. So that's what we want, and we'll see. All right, we'll see what's up. All right, so now this is hitting prod. So once this is deployed, we will retry this. And see what works and what doesn't work. Once we get this dev thing out of the way, I just wanted to build a skeleton so I can then iterate on it incrementally. Then we'll get the CRM built in so that I can better understand the user flow and journey across the board. And then yeah, just back to creating strategies. So that's my migration file for all the events that we want to track. Just got created. So, alright, so I think this is now in prod. Okay. So this is now in prod, so, well, it's building the image. And let's see if we get the metrics. Okay, what do we get? Yeah, it's still building. I actually lied. Alright, so yeah, it's been about 3 minutes. Let's give it more time. Once we have this going, we have the admin analytics API that's being built. And we still have the app that's running now, while it's being built. Let's see what we have cooking. I think the implementation that Claude had on the tracking was exactly what we wanted. Then, I mean, the plan, once we have the app that is live, the plan is going to be a lot more about growth. So I think that's going to be the challenging part, is how do you get this to hit in front of the users. Same for the prop firm, like product wise, it's gonna be, it's a cool product, but you wanna make sure the growth is there. I mean, that's basically everything that a product should be. Alrighty, so it's still building everything. It's crazy. It's been deploying for 5 minutes now. Alright. Production. Alright, it's building the analytics board. Alright, so now we have the app that's deployed, so we can try it out. We're getting this user action done, so let's see if we can get lucky on the strategy in the meantime. Alright, so the endpoints are working, which is cool. We need to make sure this is added, make sure this is added to the new capabilities .md file. And I'm checking. Okay. There's an app that's pretty similar to what we're building, which is WellBe. I just wanted to check it out. But see, that one is interesting. Go short BTC on the daily. The cool thing now is we get the astrological events, so we know exactly what's going on there. And we're getting this those dev pages on. Once we have this going, we'll just end the stream. Every time I'm saying this, but I really need to come up with a clear roadmap. So this strategy doesn't work. Definitely, I think an idea I have for the roadmap as well is to basically have an agent that is taking all the profitable strategies. So if we, assume that this app is crowdsourcing intelligence, then let's build a bot that's actually. We could imagine like a big vault on Hyperliquid that's replicating the whole intelligence of the platform and taking the best trades in terms of EV. I think that would be a good thing, because inherently people aren't really interested in, like, they don't want to find the answer, they want to have the answer, which is why stuff like copy trading works. Is people are inherently very lazy. But yeah, to get this going, to get the AI bot, we first need to get the signals live, which today isn't, and it's gonna come after we go in production. Once we go to prod, we'll get the signals, and then once we get the signals, we will be able to hook this up to a trading engine. I think Hyperliquid is gonna be a good one for this. And now we're doing the tracking, and we just want to see how this looks like. Perhaps you can see it already. Yeah, that's the analytics that we have at the moment. So obviously it's not backfilling the data. but ideally we have a user by user thing. So that's the flow we have today. We've got 3 signups, only 2 ran back tests, and only 1 made a purchase. Okay, wait. Why is this app? Wait, the admin tab is not scrollable. Well, sorry, the analytics tab. That's gonna give me some insights, but I want to make sure we get down to the user. And I think we will end it there for today. I think it was a good session, but I need to make sure we will dialed in on the strategies. All right, cool. Actually, this is very interesting. You see the credit bot, the actions taken. I want to make sure that we report the number of prod errors for each user in the analytics tab. I want to make sure I get a good handle of this. All right, so we'll end it there. We'll show you the progress that I've made between now and tomorrow, roughly the same day. You'll see. I think we'll get a lot more confident on the exact launch time. And until then, peace out. Sorry, I was a bit tired on the stream. Honestly, I haven't slept this night, so a bit low on